Good morning, rock and metal fans. Welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. And today I'm going to rank and basically sum up 2020 in music. If I was to sum up 2020 in general, it'd be pretty shit, wouldn't it? It would be a bit fucked up. So we're just going to talk about the music. So I'm going to do a little bit different than I do ranking the other years. There's going to be a lot more albums on here. A lot more honourable mentions, and I've got 17 albums that actually made my list into the best albums of 2020, so that's quite good. I think there could have been more, obviously, but a lot of bands' plans were changed because of COVID. I reckon a lot of bands that were going to release something and tour with it in support of the album obviously couldn't, so they have held back on the albums, which could mean that we're going to get, hopefully, when all this shit is over in the next couple of years, we're going to get some good albums come through. But considering all the grief, it wasn't bad. We've got some really good music come out in 2020. So, first of all, honourable mention. So these didn't quite make the cut, but they're good albums. So these are worth checking out. First one, Dirty Shirley. So Dirty Shirley brought a debut album out, Dirty Shirley, it was called, and it's George Lynch and Dino Jelusic. So George Lynch of Dokken, and Dino Jelusic is one of the best vocalists around at the moment. Absolutely phenomenal voice. Phenomenal. Forgive me, it's still the morning. Brilliant voice. And he got together with George Lynch on this. For me, it was good, but not great, because it was a bit too bluesy for me. I prefer my rock and metal a bit more melodic, hard rock and metal, less bluesy, if you know what I mean. So, but a good album nevertheless. Check that out, Dirty Shirley, Dirty Shirley. Revolution Saints, Rise. So Revolution Saints, I think it's their third album. This band also is like a super group, consists of Dean Castronovo of Journey, ex-Journey, Jack Blades of Night Ranger, so really good musicians on here. Didn't quite make the cut. I thought that it was okay, but it didn't really sort of push the boundaries. It was straightforward, sort of what I expected, but not something that really stood out to me. Next, Biff Byford of Saxon brought out a solo album, School of Hard Knocks, which was pretty good. Didn't quite make the cut though, just not consistent enough for me, but still some good tracks all over it. I love Biff Byford, I think Saxon are great. Next up in my honourable mentions, We Are Resolute, Shine the Light. So Christian metal band featuring Dal Thompson from Bride and Brian Carmen on the guitar. It's a really good debut album from them. Shows a lot of promise. I think, they're very sort of 80s sort of sounding to me. Sort of Judas Priesty, sort of a bit more melodic than that though. Sort of mix it up with ballads as well. So really good album that, We Are Resolute, Shine the Light. Next in my honourable mentions is Gathering of Kings, second album called Discovery. This is like a Swedish project of these two people bring this band together, and they bring out all the best vocalists around Sweden, and they guest appear on an album. You know what? I think if this was a band album and it was sang by the same vocalist, it might have made my actual list. I think it puts me off when there's like multiple vocalists and multiple musicians across an album sometimes. But it's still really good, in the vein of AOR melodic rock, heavy rock music. Next up, British band Passion released a debut album called Passion. Really good. These sort of consist of a band that I've mentioned, one of my top albums of one of my years, called Night by Night, and they have disbanded, I believe, and Passion has got a couple of members, or one of the members. Check out Trespass on Love, a great song from this album if you want to check out that band. They're sort of hard rock, melodic hard rock band. And the same goes for Stormforce, another band, one of my honourable mentions, called Age of Fear, their album. Canadian band, melodic rock, hard rock music again, really good. Because of You, check out that track if you want to check them out. Another honourable mention is my last one, the Ragged Saints. They brought out an album called Sonic Playground Revisited. They're from Finland. They're really good. Again, heavy melodic rock band. Really good band as well. Check that one out. So, moving on to my 17 albums that I'm going to rank 2020. So, all these 17 made the cut. Some of them are really good. Some of them are absolutely perfect albums. So, we get to that. Number 17 first, Demons and Wizards and their album 3. So, this is a project, Jon Schaffer from Iced Earth, one of my favourite bands. Along with Blind Guardian singer Hansi Kirch. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that. I'm really bad with names, as you all know. I think this would have been further up in the list. Obviously, I love Iced Earth. I think Jon Schaffer's songwriting is absolutely amazing. He sounds like no other person. But this wasn't quite on the level as Iced Earth for me. Although it's a really good album. Check it out. Demons and Wizards 3. Number 16. Jorn, one of my favourite singers. He brought out a covers album, Heavy Rock Radio 2. So it's his second one of a covers album. I love Jorn, but obviously a covers album it's not quite high up on the list. I do like bands that do covers sometimes, and he is especially good at them. Some of the bands he covered on here, Sabbath, Dio, his voice fits that perfectly. He even done a Bryan Adams song on here, which was really cool. So check that out. Jorn is one of the best singers around at the moment. All his discography is great, especially his solo albums. But check out Heavy Rock Radio 2. It's a good album from 2020. Number 15, Magnus Carlsen's Freefall. So Magnus Carlsen is Primal Fear lead guitarist, and he's got this Freefall project this is his third album now. It's called We Are the Night, and it features yet again multiple vocalists. About 3 or 4 appear on this album. Some of the best in the business though. Dino Chilusik again, what an amazing singer. Tony Martin's on here as well. There's some really strong songs on here. It's very epic. It's very symphonic and quite heavy at the same time. A great album, but yet again, multiple vocalists sometimes ain't the albums for me that are going to be at the top of my list. But check that out. Really good album. Number 14, Firewind, and their album Firewind. So some bands do this, don't they? They got a new vocalist actually, and that might be the reason why they call this sort of a restart again, why they called it a self-titled album. Gus G on guitar, one of the best guitarists around at the moment. They're a power metal band, but not cheesy, if you know what I mean. Really heavy sometimes, but melodic at the same time. Firewind's a great album, sort of like a return to form after a little while, if you ask me. Did a review on that as well. Check that out. And check out that album as well, Firewind. Number 13, Deftones, OMS. So, straying away from the melodic heavy rock a little bit. Some people call them a new metal band, alternative, or whatever it is. I don't really care. Love Deftones. I think this was a good album. It's lacking some of the past albums from them. I did prefer some of their older albums, but it's still good. It's got some good melodies in there. I liked it better than the previous album, Gore. So Deftones, OMS, check that out. That's my number 13. My number 12, Armored Saint, Punching the Sky. These are so consistent, this band, and this is probably one of the best albums they brought out for a while now as well. John Bush on vocals. Man, he's such a great singer. He's got such a strong voice. Punching the Sky is full up with metal songs. If you want metal, this is it. Sometimes lacking real catchy stuff, but that's not what they're all about. Their song arrangements are a little bit different than other bands, but they're a really good band. Check that out. Armored Saint, Punching the Sky. Number 11, AC/DC, Power Up. I know AC/DC are AC/DC. I know everyone knew what they was going to expect. When I heard the first single, Shot in the Dark, come out, I knew, this is AC/DC all over. But, man, they had a lot of trouble building up to this album, but this album didn't disappoint. Through the Mists of Time, check that track out. My favourite track on the album. Very consistent AC/DC album. Really like it. That's my number 11. My number 10. Now, this is one that might not have reached me in the past. I might not have heard this, but I'm so glad I did. Reviewed this a little while ago, and this is Goodhue, In the Ashes. A little while ago, I reviewed this about a week ago. 8 tracks on this. A guy called John Goodhue, American guy, brought out an album. He does every single instrument on the album, and he's got a great voice. Sounds a bit like Alter Bridge to me, a bit like the Tremonti solo stuff, sort of melodic but modern at the same time. Check out Don't Ever Leave Me from this album. What an epic song. That's my number 10. My number 9, another band that I wouldn't have heard unless it was for doing this channel, and that's Sonic Divide, and the other side is the album. Did a review of this Australian band. They did a little couple of gigs with Striper on the Goddamn Evil tour a couple of years back. But these are a brilliant band. Yet again, sort of more modern sounding, but really full of melody. Check out their song When It Bleeds. An epic ballad. Brilliant, brilliant song. And an excellent album. My number 8, Black Swan, Shake the World. So, Robin McAuley, Red Beach, Jeff Pilson project. First album. Don't know if they're going to do any more. Man, Robin McAuley, I didn't realise what a great voice he's got, you know, and the age he's at as well. This is full, brilliant hard rock melodic album. A lot of people's sort of favourite album of this year. Really good, strong melodic songs. That's my number 8, Black Swan, Shake the World. My number 7, Primal Fear, Metal Commando, a band that's always mentioned on this channel. Power metal, not cheesy, full-blooded metal songs these are. Check this band out. They're like a Judas Priest, but a lot better. Right, standout tracks for me were the ones that sounded a little bit different than their other albums. I Will Be Gone is a ballad that's absolutely superb. Just showcases Ralph Sheeper's voice. He's got an outstanding voice. And it closes, the closer to this album is an epic 13-minute song, Infinity. Twists and turns all over the place. Absolutely love this. Primal Fear, Metal Commando, my number 7. My number 6, and we're getting some real decent albums now. One that some of you might not have heard of, but I did review a few months back. Girish, or it might be Girish. I think it's Girish and the Chronicles. Weirdly Indian bands. You know, there are many bands coming from India. Wow, man. These are a band and a half. I tell you, you listen to these guys. This album is absolutely brilliant. Listen to Wounded off of this album. It's absolutely a superb track. Check out Girish and the Chronicles debut album. Absolutely superb. My number 5, Perfect Plan and Time for a Miracle. Swedish band, out of Sweden again. Swedish bands are just pouring out music. Brilliant music at the moment. Very 80s AOR sounding, like a mixture of, I don't know, Survivor, Foreigner, but very sort of got a modern sort of sound to it, like a lot of the great Swedish bands have at the moment. Check out the title track, Time for a Miracle, and you won't be disappointed. What a brilliant voice the singer's got as well. Excellent. Well, my number 4, we're getting a bit heavier with this one, and that's Testament and Titans of Creation. What a brilliant thrash album this is. And this ain't thrash where you can't, it's unbearable to listen to. It's, you know, vocalist is brilliant, just suits it down to the ground, like an aggressive James Hetfield, if you like. And this is the sort of music you want Metallica to make now. You know, this is a sort of, you would love to hear sort of them return to form like this. This is aggressive, but it's melodic. You can hear every word the singer's saying, but so heavy at the same time. You know, production is absolutely superb. That's my number 4. My number 3, British band FM and Synchronised. Reviewed this a few months ago. Excellent AOR band, full of catchy tunes. Steve Overland's the singer, hasn't lost a beat when it comes to his voice. And they're an 80s band, but they're still producing some brilliant music. Synchronised is an excellent album of melodic, catchy AOR music. Walk Through the Fire. Check that song out. Superb. My number 2, Heat and Heat 2. So this isn't their second album, but it's about their 5th or 6th or something like that. But this was the last album, sadly, of Eric Gromwell on the vocals. Brilliant vocalist. Swedish band. One of the best bands out there at the moment. They got their old singer back now. I think it's Kelly Lacremo. He's their singer off their first 2 albums. And Eric Gromwell was sadly left, but Kenny Lacremo is a very, very good singer. and they've just put a video up, Heat, of him singing one of these songs off this album, and it's an absolutely superb version of it. So, but getting back to the album, Heat 2 is superb. It's just got hit after hit sounding. Any of these songs could be a single. So melodic, sort of heavy though at the same time. Guitars are right up in the mix, but such a melodic band. Absolutely brilliant. Swedish band again. And my number one might not be a surprise for some people, but I've covered a lot of this band this year and they didn't disappoint. My best album of 2020 is Stryper, Even the Devil Believes. Man, whatever I said about this album, every track is fantastic. What a consistent album. It's right up there in my ranking of their Stryper discography. It's the best album since, but you know, since that's my opinion, by the way. No More Hell to Pay was just a tad in front of this for me, but it's a perfect album. It's a brilliant album. I've covered so much on this album. There's not a lot more I can say, but you know, excellent performances from all the band. Robert Sweet on the drums, wow, just no let up from him, is there? Perry Richardson, new bass guitarist from Firehouse, has come into the band now. Wow, the bass, the production for a start on this album is amazing. The bass is right up in the mix, and Perry's playing is fantastic. Oz Fox, excellent as always. What a superb guitarist, and all the best to Oz. Obviously not doing too good at the moment, but my best wishes to you, man, if you're listening to this. And obviously Michael Sweet, you know, he's done a lot for my channel. He's so kindly done an interview with me. He's brought my subscribers up. You know, he's probably doubled my subscribers, what they would be at least. He's covered my channel a lot and shared some stuff from me. So they're not number one because of that. They're number one because it's a brilliant album. Check this out. Obviously, if you're an old Stryper fan and you just can't let go of Soldiers Under Command or To Hell with the Devil, and you don't think there's a Stryper anymore, wake up and smell the, I would say coffee, but it's tea. They're superb. Absolutely superb. Stryper's my number one. Even the Devil Believes. And man, we got some music coming out next year. Oh my God. So we got some stuff from Michael Sweet. I think he's doing a solo album. Stryper are going to bring out some rehashed stuff from the past, some re-recorded stuff, which will be cool. You've got Todd La Torre, just brought out a brilliant song, and that album's out at the beginning of the year. You've got Durbin, which is I've been covering one of his songs, reacted to that the other day. He, don't let it put you off, but he was in American Idol a few years ago, and he's bringing out a metal album, which a couple of the songs I've heard of it are going to be absolutely fantastic. Ben, I mentioned earlier on, We Are Resolute. I think they're bringing out their second album later on this year, next year. I've probably missed loads. Oh, Accept. How can I miss Accept? They're January the 15th, I think their album's coming out. The two songs that have come out so far are absolutely fantastic. I don't know. I don't know if I've missed anything. Hopefully Queensryche might do something as well. But, you know, I think that the next year is going to be a fantastic year. So hopefully this crap will be over, this COVID bollocks, and we can all get back to seeing gigs and the band's releasing loads of albums. But you can see what state the music industry is in now with these albums that are coming out. It's in a good position. It's never going to be, look, it's never going to go back to what it was it, in the MTV 80s days? It's not. But let's just grasp the music we've got now. And if you're not, because you're stuck in the 80s or whatever you are, do you know what I mean? You're stuck in those and you don't think there's any good bands. Have a listen to some of them bands I've mentioned today. Man, you know, what have you got to lose? Listen, you've got all these streaming platforms now to listen to it. Just have a listen. Have a listen on YouTube first. If you like it, get it. Done. Simple. Said my piece. Right, listen, also thanks to everyone who's listened, commented and subscribed this year. I only started this out in March because of COVID. I was bored sitting at home thinking, you know what, I enjoy watching those reaction videos and the ranking. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of that. And at first I looked back on my videos and I was like a bit nervous and they were a bit rubbish and I was all the time. But slowly, surely, I got subscribers. And then I got to interview some of my idols, you know, Eric Martinson, Michael Sweet, you know. All right, a couple of interviews, people think, so what? But people that I look up to in the music business, I just can't believe that I've actually interviewed those people. So what started off as a little bit of a, you know, I don't know what to do with myself, has grown. And it's not, I've said loads of times before, I haven't got 100,000 subscribers. I've nearly got 800, but I was happy when I got 50. You know, I was over the moon. So it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you to everyone who has commented, like I said, and liked the channel, subscribed to the channel and liked the videos and given me new music to listen to. Man, there's some stuff on that list that have made it, and they're new bands that I never would have heard of. So thank you so much to everyone. And obviously there's going to be a lot more coming. I'm going to do a little bit more for the rest of this year. Obviously, I'm not going to let up. And then 2021 is going to bring some decent music by the looks of it. So stay tuned. Thanks to everyone for listening. If you want to subscribe, please press the red button, bottom right hand corner.